are here today on the Antonio D32. We're going to put her through her paces and do a full features review and performance test. And today I am lucky enough to be joined by Captain Jim. Captain Jim is here today to do a little bit of training. He's going to come on as another boat test captain, so I'm here to show him the ropes.
Captain Jim Noel. I am from the Northeast. I have been a captain for over 25 years and a mechanical engineer prior to that in a lot of boat companies. I'm pretty familiar with the way boats are put together and like to extend that to our boat test family.
This boat has such a unique look and some really cool features. I'm really excited to show you around. Let's get started. The Antonio D32 has a length overall of 32 feet 6 inches, a beam of 10 feet 6 inches, and an empty weight of 8,600 pounds. So we're going to start at idle and we're going to go up in 500 RPM increments all the way up to wide open throttle. And you are going to write down my numbers as I call them out. Our test boat was equipped with dual 300 horsepower Mercury outboards. And with them wound up to 6,000 RPM, our test boat saw a wide open throttle speed of 53.2 miles per hour. The best cruise came at 41.2 miles per hour at 5,000 RPM. At that speed, the 28.6 gallon per hour fuel burn translated to 1.4 miles per gallon and a range of 222.7 statute miles, all while holding back that 10% reserve of the boat's 172 gallon fuel capacity. Yeah, I can really feel the outboard kind of grab as I make sharper turns. All right, let's play with the trim a little bit and see what kind of difference that's gonna make.
Yeah, just by lightening up that bow a little bit, that plumb bow doesn't dig in quite as deep. You can really feel it. It cuts the corners fairly well.
And the other thing I noticed is with the plumb bow and the helm set slightly forward, where we normally would have it set farther back on most outboard powered vessels, you really feel that going into the corners. And by reducing that trim just a little bit and softening that bow, giving it a little rise, really makes it handle the corners well.
I agree. Personally, I thought the boat was really fun to drive. You can tell the difference between a boat of this size with and without the double-stepped hull. I really noticed it today when we were out making some maneuvers. What do you think of your first performance test?
We had an absolutely spectacular day out here in Biscayne Bay and couldn't have been better.
All right, let's head back. I think the bow is a great place to start this walkthrough because we're here in Biscayne Bay. I've got the Miami skyline off in the distance. And if you're anchored out here like we are, this is where you're gonna be. The sun pad is large. It's 58 inches wide by 68 inches long. You have cup holders on both sides. There are speakers all the way forward. And in here is the anchor locker with electric windlass and that extended arm roller for the anchor so that you're not gonna damage that plumb bow as it comes up. This boat is such an eye catcher in Miami because of that design. It's got that plumb bow, really high freeboard, so you have 58 inches of freeboard all the way around. And there's 21 inches of gunnel height on the inside. So walking all the way forward, I still feel pretty secure. Before we move aft, I wanted to talk about the storage space under here. Now most boats like this that have the sun pad but also have a cabin down below, there is no storage because you need that for the headroom. But this boat, because it has such a high freeboard, there's still a large storage compartment underneath. Moving aft, the walkways are 14 inches and there's a 7-inch step down before you head into the cockpit. As we wander down to the helm, there is dedicated storage for those rectangular fenders. And as you come into the helm, be careful with your noggin there, but once you're in here, you have 6 feet 3 inches of headroom. To starboard, digital throttle controls, all the important toggle switches just in front of the tilt base steering wheel. There is a compass center line, and I have a 12-inch Simrad multifunction display ahead of me. To the left of the steering wheel, thruster controls, trim tab controls, and a Fusion head unit. And there's a neat little cubby in there for your phone with power. The captain's chairs, and nope, just looks like the captain's chair moves forward and aft. All three have bolsters that you can flip down. And since we're here, why don't we head down into the cabin? 3 wooden steps lead down into the cabin, where the main living space has 6 feet 3 inches of headroom. The forward berth actually has a convertible setup, so you see it now in the lounge setup, but I can pull this forward, extend the cushion, and now it's a good sized berth. There is 2 feet 3 inches of headroom above the berth, and all the way forward there's a cubby for a good amount of items. There are light switches on both sides of the bed and electrical outlets. You can actually play with the multicolor LED lighting in this space. So right now we've got it on kind of a pretty blue, but you can do pink, green, red, whatever your mood reflects. On the port side, you have your electrical panel. Down below is a zippered storage space. And all the way aft, underneath the stairs, is another berth, again with 2 feet 3 inches of headroom. On the starboard side, you have this head compartment, and D'Antonio has added this roll-away door. They said that they did this because it gives the whole space a more open feel. I like that they've incorporated this fabric into the storage below in the head, as well as out on the port side. In the head, there's an electric flush toilet, sink. The faucet for the sink doubles as a shower, so this is a wet head, and a little storage down below. Now let's head back out on deck. In the cockpit, there is 30 inches of gunnel height, and there's some carbon fiber accents on both sides with the D'Antonio logo. Another feature I really like that D'Antonio's done, these recessed handrails. So many of these high freeboard, flat-sided boats, you lose those because they want that sleek aesthetic. But I miss being able to put fenders where I want them and only being restricted to the fender clips. So I like that they've done this. The grab rails continue up above. They're well placed. When I was running around earlier during our performance test, Captain Jim was very happy that these were here. Behind the helm station, there's a couple of cup holders and a wet bar with either a propane stove or an electric. Down below, there's a fridge and several storage cabinets. Up above in that hardtop is an electrically actuated sunroof that opens with some more glass accents. This bench has a large storage compartment underneath, and it serves double duty, so you can sit aft facing around the table when you want to, or when you're running, you can flip the whole thing and everybody can be facing forward while you're underway. Underneath this banquette is storage, but it's wet storage because it's actually connected to the engine bay on the other side. This whole seating configuration easily seats 6, and it's completely shaded by the expansive hardtop. As I look around the boat from the cockpit, I am seeing that they have brought that smooth, sleek, straight lines aesthetic inside as well. There's hard edges everywhere, not a lot of curvature that gives it a really modern look. I like the styling, but our toes weren't the biggest fan of these hard corners. And D'Antonio has come up with a smart way to access the mechanical space. Let's check that out. A lot of mechanical spaces, you would need to remove this table and its pedestals to access it. But D'Antonio has made it so that you can leave the table in place to access it. And this 32-foot boat is actually pretty spacious. I have easy access to strainers. I'm sitting on the water tank, and the stainless steel fuel tank is just forward. On the port side, there is the generator and battery bank. Down below, some bilge pumps. It's well laid out. Moving all the way aft, there's a boarding gate. I like the sturdiness of the hard top. They're good as grab rails, but it's actually very aesthetically pleasing as well. And in the starboard gunnel, there's fuel fill, water, and the diesel fill. Yeah, that's right. I said diesel because this boat is equipped with a diesel generator. That's a really strong trend that we're seeing in the market these days. They're more efficient and they're safer. And on the port side, there are 2 other recesses, one for the incoming shore power and the hot, cold stern shower. Moving all the way aft, a large sun pad, 78 inches by 66 inches, and below are hidden outboards. The sun pad on the D3 is a manual lift, is assisted by gas struts, and it reveals the Mercury 300 V8s. You can also equip this boat with two 250s. Looking forward, you can see that wet storage space, and it'd be pretty tricky to access this area without that additional access from under the banquette, so that's a nice touch. The swim platform is 24 inches by 124 inches, and this is pretty spectacular. On a normal outboard boat, I would be in the water right now, or I'd be kind of maneuvering between the motors. So this whole setup with the sun pad that covers the motors is pretty spectacular. You have full access to the water all the way around the boat. Your pull-out ladder is right here in the center, and you're well away from those propellers. Well, I couldn't think of a better place to end our day with Miami in the background. So, Captain Jim, what do you think of your first boat test?
I think it went really, really well. I had a great day, great time. Boat's excellent. What a perfect ending.
And that's been our full features inspection and performance review of the Antonio D32. For Boat Test, I'm Captain Shelley.
I'm Captain Jim.
Do you want to say it?
Go
Go ahead.
Life's better on a boat.